Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to Auntie Derek's Daytime Tea, where we discuss the latest celebrity tea in the news. I'm your host, Auntie Derek, and with me I have my lovely co-host, I Chill. Hey, boo.
What's up, Auntie?
I am fabulous. How are you?
Doing great on this rainy day.
Oh, and shout out to all the listeners. Hey, y'all. Everybody listening in the chat. Today is today Friday the 13th? Good
It
Lord.
is. It is.
But no, it is
They're
Friday, June 13th.
saying on the news today, some people have a phobia about Friday the 13th. That's a phobia for everything, you know?
Hmm. Now, I wouldn't call it a phobia per se. Well, maybe it is a phobia, but I know like certain things I don't like that old superstition. Like I don't step on any cracks. I try not to break any mirrors and stuff like
Get
that.
out of here.
Yeah, because I am very superstitious, honey. Very. I believe in all those energies and stuff, and I think Friday the 13th is one of those days that I have no proof of this, of course, but I think it is one of those days where well, things that could go wrong do go wrong. So I don't know.
I wonder if it got its reputation because of the movie or some other reason. Because I don't see any reason why Friday just gets, lambasted because it's the 13th. I don't understand.
I think the movie definitely had a lot to do with it. But I know, like, what I learned, like, because this was like stuff that I picked up in elementary school and stuff. I just learned it, and it really didn't have anything to do with the movie. It was like, oh, just be careful on Friday the 13th. You know, they'll say step on the crack, break your mama's back, and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, I remember those sayings, but I don't remember it being about Friday the 13th until after that movie came out. And I'm like, why Friday
Mhm.
get a bad name?
Look, and Happy talking about it's bad luck to be superstitious. Well, well, damn it, it's just a circle, a vicious circle, ain't it? Because I'm gonna be superstitious, man. I'm gonna do that anyway. So it's just in my nature, honey.
What's up, BB?
Hey, BB. Well, before we get started with the show, I want to do my Pride Pulse segment of the day. Thank you so much, Beezus, for coining that term. And
Yes.
today we're going to talk about someone who I think is absolutely fabulous. And let me just share this link here from his website, Gary Hayes, also known as Gary with the T. So let's talk about him today. And when I tell you I'm such a huge fan of Gary, so his page from his bio from his very own website, it starts with the T on Gary. Gary with the T has been lighting up the airways and screens with his vibrant personality for years. Famous for his must-hear color of the day, fashion reports, and celebrity news, segments called Gary's Tea, he is a staple on the nationally syndicated The Ricky Smiley Morning Show and Fox's Dish Nation, reaching over 116 markets. Gary's journey started at KJMZ Dallas, where he went from being a frequent call in listener to a co host on the Russ Parr Morning Show. His charm and talent for spilling the tea quickly made him a fan favorite at station events and community appearances. Gary's tea became so popular that stations in Austin and West Palm Beach brought him on for celebrity reports, and he even made a splash on the Steve Harvey Morning Show with his horoscopes. Since 2006, Gary has found his exclusive radio home on the Ricky Smiley Morton Show, where he's been a beloved radio host. Beyond radio, Gary has been a TV sensation on Dish Nation since 2011, and he's racked up acting credits, including a role in the film The Last Stand with Kevin Hart and Tammy Roman, and performances in various Shelley Garrett stage productions. Gary with the T isn't just a media personality, he's a dedicated community advocate. Holding a bachelor's degree from Northwood University and a diploma from the American Broadcasting School, he's been an ambassador for AIDS Walk Atlanta and Dallas, promoted mental health awareness, and as a cancer survivor, used his platform to encourage others to get checked. Gary with the T continues to blend in entertainment with advocacy, making a difference while keeping us all informed and laughing. So shout out to Gary with the T. And clearly, after reading all that, this man is one of my biggest inspirations, honey. Gary with the T, and there you have Auntie Derek's Daytime Tea, honey. Yes, it's Gary and Wendy Williams and all the greats who dared to do it. Certainly inspired me to even be here. So shout out to them. We got a mic request. Hey, BB.
Hey boo, how are you?
I'm fabulous. How are you?
The child work been getting on my nerves. I ain't been here because they've been working me, honey. I've been earning my paycheck, and we don't like to earn our paychecks. Okay,
Okay.
okay. But I met Gary several times when I was out in the streets in Atlanta. He is a very personable guy, really nice. He does great work with Impulse Atlanta. I don't know if that was in his bio, but he's done work with them as they put on functions for the LGBT community. Really good guy. I love Gary with the T. Okay, so great shout out.
Oh, thank you. Well, the next time you see him, well, if you do happen to go out in the streets when you're not working, you tell that fabulous person I said hello, 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 and we are huge fans of his. And I think we does he still have his Twitter page? Because I think we are still following each other on Twitter. But you know he follow everybody, so
I have, me and X, we broke up.
I get it.
So. But if I go to one of Impulse's events, he's usually there. I would save this recording. I would make sure I give it to him.
Oh, thank you.
You know I love you, honey.
I love you more. Well, does anybody want to add anything else about this fabulous, personable media icon that is Gary with the T before we get started with Auntie Derek's tea? All right, well, let's go ahead and get started with the tea, horny.
Oh, it's tea time.
It sure is, yes. And you know we're gonna catch up from. Sorry, I wasn't able to, update y'all yesterday about the Diddy's live updates with his trial, but we'll catch you up today. So I just shared the CNN link, and let's see what they are talking about. Let's see what we missed yesterday. And I think yesterday was Jane's last day on the stand because we've been Jane has been telling her story for a while on that witness stand.
Yes, I know she happy.
Hmm. So it starts with what Jane said on her final day of testimony yesterday. Jane, one of Diddy's accusers testifying under a pseudonym, concluded her testimony yesterday after ongoing cross examination and redirect questioning. Here's a look at what she said on her last day on the stand. There was a breaking point. Jane testified again about the physical altercation she and Combs had in 2024 over a woman she believed Combs was spending time with on a trip. At this point, I had just reached my breaking point in the relationship, she said. Jane testified that after things escalated, she called the woman from Combs' phone and the two traded insults. She said Combs also FaceTimed his assistant, Jonathan, who told Jane that the other woman did not go on the trip. There was a confusing cycle. Jane testified that the reason she sent Combs affectionate text messages after the 2023 Turks and Caicos trip, which she had previously described as disappointing, was because of a confusing cycle in which Combs would shower her with love and affection with sexual exploitation in between. She said she was able to compartmentalize all the bad stuff and focus on the good parts. Mm-mm. Like most abuse victims do. But anyway, there were other women. When asked why she brought up hotel nights to Combs during discussions about other women in his life, Jane testified that she was trying to express, "Why do I have to be degraded in order to be with you?" Becoming emotional, she added that she was trying to say, "Why do I have to break all my boundaries and compromise on myself, but they can still experience you in the way that I want to?" And then there were rent threats. Jane testified that she began telling Combs she didn't want to participate in hotel nights in 2021, but became more vocal about it in 2023. She said that by 2023, Combs had been paying her rent for several months and would often mention her rent in connection with hotel nights. Jane added that Combs threatened to stop paying her rent in all different types of ways. Mm-mm. So let's see. So that was the update from yesterday. We are not mad at no update. You are a mess, baby. Okay, let me just go back and see what we let me just skip to say judges on the bench. We know that. I want to actually get to the juror number 6. Is there anything else about that? Okay, here's one update. It says Judge Abramian has turned to prosecutors' previous request to dismiss one of the jurors, number six, a request made after they said they found there appeared to be a lack of candor with the court from the juror. Sabramian said there was a question of the juror's residence, and they confirmed they've established that he met the qualifications to be in the jury pool and lived in the jurisdiction at least at the time of jury selection. The juror moved out of the Bronx in the last 2 weeks, Sabramian said. Sabramian said this came up only because of a friendly banter with the juror had with the jury staff members who informed the court out of caution. Mm-mm. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo said it no longer seems to be an issue, and the juror has been part of a diligent panel that's been engaged and cooperative throughout the trial. The judge also pushed back on a previous accusation from one of the defense attorneys this week that this was a thinly veiled effort to dismiss a black juror. Sabramian said there's been no evidence and no showing of any kind of any biased conduct from the prosecution. U.S. Assistant U.S. Attorney Mitzi Steiner said the juror had said multiple things that cannot all be true, and the most prudent thing to do would be to get to the bottom of this issue through additional inquiry. Defense attorney Alexandra Shapiro said further inquiry would be harassing the juror, who she said would feel singled out and picked on if he's subject to individual questioning again. Shapiro said the defense waives the issue on appeal. When Shapiro suggested the judge ask Combs if he wanted to waive, Combs waved his arm and said, "Waiving, Your Honor." The judge at first said he'd like to hear more from the juror because he thinks there will be a perfectly innocent explanation, but said he'd think about it further. Sabramian said that if he opts to question the juror further, he'll do it at the end of the day after the panel has been dismissed. Combs' mother is, so far, the only one of his relatives in court today. He said hello to her and blew her a kiss. So I don't know about y'all, but I'm a little confused. Okay, so first they're saying so it was the defense claim saying that they wanted to, the prosecution is like trying to do a thinly veiled attempt to dismiss a black juror because he initially we learned that this juror appeared to didn't have like a candor for the court or whatever the words they use, but now it's the stories of, oh well, now it's because of his residence, because when during the jury selection he was living in the Bronx, and now he moved away from the Bronx 2 weeks ago, so now it's an issue. I don't know about y'all, but I'm a bit confused.
Maybe they're thinking that he knew he would be moving, but he wanted to be on the jury, so he didn't disclose that maybe at the
That
time
may,
because it's kind of weird you move after the trial has started. A move is not something that you do last minute, so maybe
yeah.
that's what they're trying to imply. But I just want to say this court artist, why she got this man looking like he dipped his face, his lips in some flour? Like, what's what's going on with that?
That's probably is how they look in court because you know they done took all his money, so he can't afford no
You,
chapstick from the canteen.
no, you can get some chapstick. Come on, Auntie. I just can't believe this picture here. This is crazy. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking, that he didn't disclose that he would be moving from that area.
Yeah, possibly. And we have a comment. They must not like him, petty artist. And wasn't there some kind of a story where I think Diddy told that sketch room artist? I need to find the story, but he said something to her about making him look like a koala or something like that.
Not a koala.
Matter of fact, let me see if I can find that article really quick.
Yeah, she definitely if she act like she mad with this picture, because I can't imagine his lips look like this. This is crazy.
hmm
And his
Yep.
eyebrows. I mean, it's like she's almost doing a character caricature. Look at his eyebrow. Whose eyebrows do that? Look at that on the corner. What is she?
Yep, I was right. This story broke a week ago. He did say that sketch artist making him look like a koala.
Yeah, yeah. She ain't right for that. at all.
So that I just shared for slide number 4 about that. That's a link from CBS. So yeah, so Diddy agrees with you. He like this sketch artist is playing with him and got him looking crazy.
Mm,
All right. So now, what's the next update? Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Okay. So special agent who helped search Combs' Los Angeles home called to the stand. So Homeland Security Investigation Special Agent Andre Lamont is now on the stand. Prosecutor Meredith Foster is questioning the agent. Lamont was part of the team that searched Diddy's Los Angeles home. Okay. So, jury hears text messages between Combs and Stafford and between Ventura and Guard. So, in front of the jury, but before Homeland Security Investigation Special Agent Andre Lamont took the stand, prosecutors read aloud some text messages. According to this reading, Diddy texted his then chief of staff, Christina Coram, on November 21st of 2023, saying in part, make sure Robin is not doing anything dumb, like not having that rent paid on time. Can you make sure she paid for this month, please? According to previous testimony, Robin was Combs' accountant, and Jane, who dated Combs from 2021 to 2024, testified in this case under a pseudonym and is identified as a victim in Combs' indictment, said Robin handled the rent for her home. Testimony has indicated Combs paid for Jane's rent for a Los Angeles home from 2023 to present day. Okay, so Coram responded, according to the messages read today, Robin said her rent was paid. It says timing context. The text to Quran was sent 5 days after former Combs' girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, accused him in a federal lawsuit of rape and years of abuse. And we know that that lawsuit was settled the day after it was filed. It says another message chain read today was between Ventura and D Rock, one of Combs' security guards, in January of 2017. My bathroom door is broken down. He's blaming me for going to someone else's house when I pulled over to see if I was being followed, and I was. Ventura, who dated Combs around 2007 to 2018, texted D Rock. He has my keys, so I'm leaving. I do not feel safe. I'm not fucking with anyone else. She later messaged him that 3 of her doors were broken. You know I can't take your keys from him, D Rock said later in the message. He is here and you are there. I think that's the best thing for now. Oh, I think that's very important. The very important text that D Rock just said, because that pretty much shows that I can't do anything with this man. I clearly see that you're being done wrong, but I can't do nothing because it's going to affect my safety and my bottom line and my paycheck. So I think, yeah, that hey, what's the next update? Substances positive for ketamine and MDMA were taken from Combs' LA home, according to evidence in court. Okay, so with Homeland Security Investigation Special Agent Andre Lamont on the stand, the jury saw photos of items that authorities say were found in nightstands in the bedroom of Diddy's Los Angeles home during Homeland Security's March 2024 search. One of the nightstands contained 6 manila envelopes marked with a K, Lamont said. A white powder in the bags tested positive for ketamine, according to a stipulation read in court. Several cell phones were found in the house, Lamont testified. The jury saw photos of items that were inside a safe and in one of the master closets. Combs' passport and a plastic bag with a brown substance in it were found inside the safe. Lamont said the brown substance tested positive for MDMA, according to the stipulation. Honey, they was doing drugs up in there, honey. Okay, what's the next update? Jury sees photos of items recovered from Combs' home. So, Special Agent Andre Lamont said Homeland Security investigations recovered about 200 bottles of baby oil and 900 bottles of personal lubricant from Sean Diddy Combs' residence. The jury
nine.
saw a photo.
Hold on. What's that number of lubricant that bottles?
900, honey. 900 bottles of personal lubricant.
Jesus.
He said he just wanted to be able to pick up one and go. He ain't never want to run out, apparently. So the jury saw a photo of at least 16 boxes full of lubricant bottles piled in Combs' garage. The jury also saw a photo of photo of a bag of baby oil and lubricant next to a pack of lingerie recovered from a closet near the master bedroom. I told y'all he liked that ebony porn. That's why he had all that baby oil up in there. Okay, what is the next update? Agents found multiple weapons and ammo designed to penetrate body armor at Combs' home, witness says. Mm-mm. So the jury saw photos of 6 firearms, magazines, and ammunition found in a security room in the home. Special Agent Andre Lamone testified that when he arrived, agents responsible for securing the home had already laid out the firearms and removed their magazines in accordance with standard procedures. Lamone said the security room had a firearm safe, and agents also found 2 locks in the bag. 4 of the guns were rifles, one was a pistol, and one was a shotgun, according to Lamone. Lamone testified that the serial number on one of the rifles appeared to have been scratched or sanded off. I was wondering when they were going to bring that into evidence, so now we're talking about it. Okay, so agents also seized a drum magazine compatible with rifles. Lamone testified that drum magazines typically hold larger amounts of ammunition. This drum magazine could hold 60 rounds, and 59 rounds of green tip ammunition were found in the magazine. He said green tip ammunition is designed to penetrate body armor. Mm-mm. Okay, so the next update, guns and ammunition were found only in home security room. Uh, a special agent testified. Okay, so he didn't have these guns apparently anywhere else in the home except for the security room. So defense attorney Mark Agnifilo is now cross-examining special agent Andre Lamone, who has been testifying about his involvement in Homeland Security's investigations, March 2024 search of Diddy's Los Angeles home. When asked, Lamone confirmed he is aware that a security team protects Combs' residence and there's a designated security room where all the firearms were recovered. No guns or ammunition were found anywhere in the home other than the security office, Lamone confirmed. Remember, Homeland Security investigation searched Combs' homes in Los Angeles and Miami Beach in March of 2024, and Homeland Security arrested Combs in September in New York. Okay, so they try to make it seem like it's not Combs' guns and stuff like that. It's a security team, and all this was kept in the security room. The defense doing what the defense is supposed to do. My thing is though, when they're gonna talk about like, are you gonna ask him about the scratched off serial numbers? Anyway, let's see what's the next update. Special response team cleared Combs' home before other agents entered. Witness said. So, Special Agent Andre Lamone testified that a special response team cleared Diddy's home first to make sure it was safe for other agents to enter during the March 2024 raid. He said that team's sole purpose upon entering the location is to look for people or if they encounter weapons to make weapons safe. He said that team does not typically take photos of the items on the property. Because of that, Lamone said he didn't know if the guns were found inside of the firearm safe, um, if the safe was locked, or if the door to the security room was locked when agents first arrived to the home. Okay. It says cross-examination of special agent ends. The jury is on a break. Let's see. They got here Kanye West, stupid ass, on arrives to the courthouse honey, wearing an all-white suit. Don't nobody give a hot damn. Bye. Next. Let's see. What's the next update? Prosecution points judge to Combs nodding during testimony. Okay. Look, the judge already done told him, like, look, you better stop your shit. I see what you're doing. Stop it. Okay. So while the jury was on a break, prosecutor Maureen Comey brought up an issue with the judge. During the defense's cross examination of Special Agent Andre Lamone, Combs was nodding emphatically, and he was also nodding during some of Jane's cross examination earlier this week, Comey said. Even if Combs is not looking directly at the jury, he still should not be nodding like that, Comey said. Defense attorney Brian Steele said Combs hasn't been looking at the jury and has been acting professionally. Mr. Combs did nothing inappropriate at all today or any day, actually, Steele said. Judge Abramian referenced a discussion the lawyers had last week after the judge said he saw Combs looking at the jury and nodding. The judge said he believed both sides have since made the boundaries clear to their respective teams. There's going to be some amount of reaction to testimony that is given, and it is impossible to police every reaction from every person in the courtroom, Sabramian said. The judge reiterated that efforts to communicate with or influence the jury will not be allowed. Combs nodded when the judge said he advised no one should be attempting to influence the jury. Comey clarified that she was not seeking a curative instruction or suggesting Combs be removed from the courtroom, but thought that it was inappropriate for Combs to be nodding emphatically while his attorney is asking a witness a yes or no question. I mean, and she's right. I mean, to be fair, he know what he's doing. So, what is the next update? Another one of Combs' assistants take the stand. Okay, so they didn't have that special agent on there long. Okay, so Jonathan Perez, a former personal assistant to Sean Diddy Combs, is on the stand now. Oh, let me just do a quick Google search. Is this the same Jonathan Perez I'm thinking of? Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Oh, honey, let me see. Jonathan Perez Diddy. Let me see if I can pull up a quick image on him. It is not the person I was thinking of, so never mind. Okay, so, but really nice looking guy. Okay. So Jonathan Perez, a former personal assistant to Diddy, is on the stand now. Perez said he worked for Combs between December of 2021 and September of 2024. Perez is going to testify under an immunity order. Outside the presence of the jury, he invoked the Fifth Amendment, triggering an immunity order signed by Judge Arun Subramanian to compel Perez to testify. This is the fourth witness to testify under immunity at the trial. Another Combs assistant, George Kaplan, also testified under immunity agreement, as well as Brianna Bongolan and the former Intercontinental Hotel security guard, Eddie Garcia. Okay, Kanye West leaves the courthouse, thank God. Next update. Um, Ex-assistant Combs staff, he said, ex-assistant says Combs staff would get hours of notice to set up king nights at hotels. Okay, so now we don't went from freak offs to hotel nights to king nights. Ooh, child. Let's dig in. So back in the courtroom, Jonathan Perez, a personal assistant to Diddy from December 2021 to September 2024, testified that his starting annual salary was $85,000, and that he later made $100,000. Christina Karam, then Combs' chief of staff, was Perez's direct supervisor. He said Karams and Combs seemed to have a good working relationship, and some days it seemed they had a good personal relationship too. Perez testified. Okay, so he said they seem to have a good professional relationship, and apparently they might be have a good personal relationship too, if you know what I mean. That's what this ex-assistant is saying. Perez's typical hours were from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., and another personal assistant would work the night shift once he was finished, he said. Combs typically had 3 or 4 personal assistants, he said. Karam made him aware of king nights, which Perez described as Combs going to a hotel to have private time with a female. Jane, who testified Jane, who testified in this trial under a pseudonym and dated Combs from 2021 to 2024, would accompany Combs at hotels for king nights while Perez worked for Combs, Perez said. When asked, Perez described Jane as Combs' female friend companion. I'm not sure exactly. Combs staff would get anywhere from 2 hours to a full day's notice to set up a king night, Perez said. So this is premeditated, of course. It looks like that's what they're trying to make, I guess. Next update. King night prep involved enough supplies for a day without interruption, ex-assistant says. Okay. So Jonathan Perez, a personal assistant to Diddy from December 2021 to September 2024, continued to testify about staff members setting up king nights, which he described as Combs going to a hotel to have private time with a female, like we just went over. Whichever assistant was working in the evening would typically set up the king night, Perez said. Perez typically worked during the day, so he estimates he set up only about 5 king nights for Combs, he said. It was a lot of packing materials, making sure that he was going to have everything he would need for 12 to 24 hours without having to bother anybody, Perez testified. Perez bought food, liquor, music, red lights, condoms, lubricants, and sometimes honey, he said. Honey enhances the man's libido, Perez testified. Perez said he sometimes also went to sex stores to purchase adult outfits and high heels. He would pay for the items with his company card or with cash he got from security, he said. Okay, the next update. Combs' former assistant describes what happened after a king night. So Jonathan Perez said he cleaned up after king nights. The room would be just a bit of a mess and in disarray, Perez testified. Just like lots of sheets and towels and oils, he added. Perez said his main purpose of cleaning up was to make sure no items were left behind. The former assistant testified that Combs and his guests would be tired, and when he saw them after saw excuse me, the guests would be tired when he saw them after a king night. I imagine, honey, they drugged up and dehydrated. Anyway, Combs' staff would typically arrange for a meal, a massage, or an IV drip for him after a king night, Perez said. hmm Okay, next update. Assistant texted about getting outfits for king night hotel setup. So, Jonathan Perez has been testifying about him and other assistants setting up king nights for Combs at hotels. The jury has now seen messages that Perez sent to Combs and Jane on August 12th of 2023 involving information about a hotel room. Just left two candles and a room phone in front of room door. I'm only 9 minutes away if y'all need anything, Perez wrote. The jury also saw messages between then Combs' chief of staff, Christina Karam, Perez, and another assistant about setting up a hotel room. In the messages, Karam asked if the room was done, and Perez said he was going to run to the store to get outfits for Jane. In another conversation seen in court from May of 2023, Karam asked another assistant how cleanup was going. Slipped and fell twice. The assistant responded, I'm sorry, that's not funny. It was so much baby oil in there scattered around in that room. You trying to clean it up and slipping and falling. Oh my God. What's the next update? Combs' ex-assistant says staffers found sexually explicit video of Jane on iPad. Okay, so Jonathan Perez recounted a time at Combs' Los Angeles home when Combs' videographer found a video of Jane and another man engaging in sexual activity. Jane, one of Combs' accusers, testified for several days during his trial and described the drug-fueled sexual performances known as hotel nights that she said Combs orchestrated. Perez said in the video, what Perez said the video was on an iPad usually used by Combs' staff. Combs could be seen in the background, Perez said. Perez said he took the iPad and told Combs and Christina Coram, Combs' chief of staff, separately about the video that day. He testified Combs seemed surprised when he told him about the video. Karam told Perez that next time he should give footage directly to her and she deal with Combs. About 6 months later, Karam questioned Perez about the video and how it was found. She told Perez she got a call from someone outside the company talking about the video in some capacity. A recording of that conversation was recovered from Karam's phone, which was seized in 2024. Perez testified he didn't know he was being recorded at the time. The jury is now hearing that recording. Okay, next update. Uh, let's see. Okay, the courtroom is taking a lunch break, and then what happened inside the courthouse during Kanye West's brief visit? We don't give a fresh baked fuck, honey. I don't care nothing about Kanye trying to make a spectacle of him, like trying to censor himself during this court trial. And quiet as it's kept, you're next, buddy. Your trial is coming up next from all the things that we've read about you. So you might want to keep it cute. But y'all, it looks like the jury is on taking a lunch break. The court is taking a lunch break, and I guess we will keep you all updated if I decide to do a show on Monday. And that's the big if.
Good job.
That was a lot, child. That was a lot of information.
So much debauchery.
Yes, indeed. So before we go to the next story, does anybody want to add anything about what we just read or what we just went over with Diddy? And I'm looking at the chat too.
I'm exhausted.
You and me both. And girl, just imagine how this jury feels, honey. I know that jury is exhausted. And you remember I told you the case that I did jury duty on wasn't anything like this. It was pretty much a guy suing a corporation. And we were even tired of all of the stuff that we had to read and listen to during that two
Yeah.
week period.
Right.
So I know this jury is, when I tell you they probably way past over it, I know they are.
And they still probably have about 2, 3 more weeks to go. I just can't even imagine sitting every day listening to stories like this over and over and over. And some trials
Hmm.
last longer than that. It would just it I couldn't do it.
Look at the tire like Fantasia shoes. Oh my God.
Well, wow, why Fantasia
Wore
got
out.
gray?
Because she'll never have them on in her concert. She always taking them darn shoes off.
Well, she does. She does.
Well, let's see what the next story is. Oh, are y'all familiar with someone by the name of Jimmy Ward? He plays football.
Mhm.
Oh, well, his ass. Oh, well, not only does he play football, he also beats women.
Oh, surprise.
Right. So we're gonna talk about it. I just shared this link here. You see where it says NFL's Jimmy Ward arrested after allegedly strangling fiance.
And if she still marry him after this, she's a damn fool.
Hmm. So Houston's Texans safety Jimmy Ward, a former first round pick, was arrested on Thursday morning on a domestic violence charge. TMZ Sports has confirmed. Jail records show the 33-year-old was taken into custody in Montgomery County, Texas, at around 5:38 a.m. and booked on one felony count of assault, family, house, or what that means. Anyway, the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office said in a statement that roughly an hour prior to Ward's arrest, officers responded to a Magnolia residence over a report of an assault in progress. Upon arrival, the MCSO said deputies made contact with the victim, who alleged she had been assaulted, strangled, and threatened by her fiance, who cops ID'd as Ward. Based on the information and statements provided during the investigation, the MCSO said Ward was taken into custody without further incident. After he was booked, law enforcement says an emergency protective order against Ward was also filed at the victim's request. The MCSO added it's still investigating the matter. The Texans said in a statement to the Houston Chronicle they are aware of the report involving Jimmy Ward and are gathering more information and have no further comment at this time. Ward began his NFL career back in 2014 after the 49ers took him with the number 30 overall pick in the draft. He played 9 years for San Francisco before joining Houston for the 2023 season. In his 2 years in a Texas uniform, he started 20 games and recorded 3 interceptions. He's currently under contract with the team through this season, and the story is still developing. Mm-mm,
Mm.
mm-mm.
And this is, you know, this. I know people can be abused and develop like a what Stockholm syndrome. They still cleave to their abusers, but this man has strangled you, and this is your fiance. I just this is your time, girl. This is your time. Get
Hmm.
out. Do not marry this man.
And unfortunately, honey, I hate to say it, but she more than likely probably will still marry him. I mean, because these the money just make these girls ignore red flags, pretty much.
And love too. I mean, he may be a good person a lot of the times, and you get sucked in by that. But and I've never been in this situation, so the fact that a lot of women still do it, it's got to be some psychology to it. But if a person strength put their hands around your neck, not just talk down to you or even slap you, they strangle you.
You
That's
trying to
that's
kill? Yeah.
yeah, that's my cue to get the hell out. I I couldn't forgive that, but that's me. But I'm speaking from my own situation. I can't speak for every victim because so many of them go through stuff like this and still stay with their abusers. And but for me, That that would be my ticket out.
I would agree. Same here. Like, and if he trying to choke me outside of me saying "choke me, daddy," then yes, that we don't because
Well, yeah,
let me consent first.
right. I get it.
But no, if somebody's trying to strangle you, honey, they are either trying to end your life or hurt you really, really badly.
Out of
So to
anger.
me, that's no, yes,
Hmm.
and that's no different than like pulling a gun out on somebody. So you ain't got to speak for all victims, but we can say with certainty that somebody strangling you is trying to kill you.
Well, and if they don't do it that time, it's liable to happen again, and maybe they won't stop the next time. If they did
Hmm.
it that one time out of anger, when they get angry again, then what? I just, whew.
Well, does anybody want to add anything else about red flags or strangulation before we go to the next story? All right. Well, a next story, honey, about another abusive somebody in the NFL.
It's a
Now
lot
he's
of.
actually speaking out. It's a lot of that, yeah. Uh, So I just shared this link here from TMZ. You see where it says Greg Hardy says, "My family and I are all perfectly fine despite domestic violence arrests."
Now,
Oh, child.
you could say that because maybe if you're the one perpetuating the violence, I guess you are fine. Come
That
on.
part.
Yeah, okay.
Goofy. So Greg Hardy is breaking his silence on his recent domestic violence arrest, insisting he and his family are all perfectly fine, despite the disturbing allegations that were made against him last week. Hardy took to his Instagram page to share the update with his followers on Tuesday, just less than a week after he was thrown behind bars for allegedly getting physical with his girlfriend during a dispute at their home in Richardson, Texas. Uh, Hardy shared two videos and a picture of him getting cozy with his family with a caption that read, "Please stop spreading what these chaos machines post. They don't know any facts, then fuel. They don't know any facts, then fuel the fire that affects my kids and my wife." And he used the wrong effect. Anyway, things get emotional, but has never and will never be what you clowns are trying to spread. He added. I ask with all my heart, please, my family and I are perfectly fine. Fine. Please stop spreading lies and rumors and give our family the time and space to work through it all in private. Nigga, no. Anyway, according to the Richardson Police Department, Hardy put his hands on his girlfriend after she had accused him of cheating on her. Cops wrote in documents Hardy's girlfriend told officers the former Dallas Cowboy pass rusher pushed her and also put one of his hands around her neck. There you go, Chill. The
Uh-huh.
cops the cops stated, excuse me, the doc stated cops noticed scratches and redness on the accuser's body that were consistent with the physical altercation. Hardy did tell cops, according to the docs, he was involved in a dispute with his girlfriend, but he was adamant he never did anything more than merely move her out of the way. Hardy was ultimately booked on a charge of assault causing bodily injury, family member. Mm-mm.
Just a big Negro sigh. That's all I got.
Pretty much, honey. And let me Google. I'm gonna Google his because I bet you he's a Pisces. Because you remember I said Pisces are the kind of men that will,
Mm.
Pisces men are the kind of people that will that will hit you after finding out that they were the ones cheating. Let me just do it. Let me just. I bet you his ass is a Pisces. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. No, he's a Leo.
um,
He is a Leo, born July 28th. Mm-mm.
I have to wonder though. Excuse me, or a lot if a lot of these guys are juicing too, because it makes you very aggressive.
I wouldn't see why not.
Because
Yeah.
compared to college level players, if you look at their size, and then you look at NFL players, they're so much bigger, you know. And I know they
Yeah.
recruit from college. I think there's a secret society of juicing in that sport.
And I think you're right. Well, hun, what does anybody want to add anything about juicing or the NFL or its players before we go to the next story? Well, y'all, the next story I told y'all, honey, Tariq El Musa from HGTV was out in Vegas throwing hands, honey. And now we have more detail about exactly what happened. And reports say that he beat that man's ass, honey, for playing around with his daddy.
Don't blame him.
So I don't blame him either, honey. So I just shared this link from TMZ, and y'all see where it says Tariq El Musa pummeled man in casino fight and says, "Don't mess with my dad." So we're learning more about Tarek El Musa's alleged beatdown of another man inside of a Las Vegas casino, and the details are truly shocking. Um, the details are truly shocking because victim allegedly got because the victim got I don't know how they're writing this because the victim allegedly got pulverized. Okay, so according to Las Vegas Metropolitan PD report obtained by TMZ, the HGTV flip or flop star got into a knockdown, drag out fight with the man near a roulette table. Uh, let's get, let me, oh, it just, the page. Okay, with the man near a roulette table at the Palazzo at the Venetian Hotel, and it was all caught on surveillance video. The report states last Thursday's battle royale was triggered by Tarek's adversary apparently bumping into the chair occupied by El Musa's dad at the roulette table. Tark's father allegedly got upset and turned around to stare at the man before going back to his game. Cops say the man patted the right shoulder of Tark's dad and said something to him, sparking the violent confrontation with Tarek. Tarek, who was seated nearby, sprang to his feet and charged at the man, pushing him back before the two got into a fighting stance. Cops say the man went for Tarek's legs to try to take him down, but El Musa kneed him to the floor. Tarek then allegedly mounted the man's back and pummeled him with 3 blows to the head. After that, Tarek got up and walked away. Officers responded to a call of an assault and battery and spoke with the victim, who suffered injuries, namely purple and red bruises under the right eye and a cut to the bridge of his nose. The alleged victim initially told cops a slightly different story than they saw in the surveillance video, claiming he was just sitting at the roulette table when someone aggressively approached him and assaulted him as he tried defending himself. He seemingly left out the part about the two men squaring up before he allegedly got beaten up. The victim also told cops he wanted to press charges. Police interviewed Tarek, who said he confronted the victim to protect his dad due to him having back problems. Tarek then clammed, Tarek then clammed up after police read him his Miranda rights. As we reported, Tarek was not arrested, but he received a citation for battery. Tarek attorney David Chesnoff and Richard Schoenfield tell TMZ Tarek intends to contest these allegations in a court of law where he will assert his right to self defense and the defense of his elderly and infirm father. Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know how he's going to say he tried to defend that because trust me, I get it. And if I was in Tarek's position, I see somebody messing around with my dad and tapping him on the shoulder and stuff after bumping into his seat, then yeah, I would get. But you can't say you were the one who charged at the man to beat him down, so you can't say you were defending yourself. you
Yeah, that sounds. Uh,
you beat the hell out of that man and just say you beat it and take the fine or take whatever comes with it. But don't try to say now if you would say I was defending my dad because my dad, has back problems and I didn't want it to escalate because it looked like it was gonna escalate, sure, cool, whatever. But don't sit here try to make it seem like you were the victim because you the one who got up and charged that man and beat his ass.
and you don't know, like, what did the man say to him? He could have been saying, I'm sorry, just because he patted his shoulder. He didn't push him. He wasn't aggressive with it. And you just jump up and charge the man because he touched your dad. Yeah, I don't know. He might have to pay some money behind that.
Hmm. I agree. Well, let this be a lesson. Leave people alone up in them casinos, honey, because you don't know who's sitting down watching. And you know, you pass somebody on the back of you. Next thing you know, you up getting your ass beat.
That's about daddy. Yeah, that's crazy.
Hmm. Well, does anybody want to add anything about this crazy story before we go to the next one? Well, child, this next crazy story, honey, Silento. Watch me whip, watch me nay nay. I'm sure y'all done seen the stories. Whoo, child. So I just shared this link here from CBS News, and y'all see where it says Atlanta rapper Silento sentenced to 30 years in cousin's deadly shooting. Whoo, child. Silento, the rapper known for Watch Me Whip Nene, has been sentenced to 30 years in prison after pleading guilty to charges related to his cousin's death in 2021. The 27-year-old Atlanta rapper, whose legal name is Ricky Lamar Hawk, pled guilty but mentally ill Wednesday to voluntary manslaughter and yes, girl, mentally ill to voluntary manslaughter and other charges in the shooting death of his 34-year-old cousin. Hawk also pled guilty to aggravated assault, possessing a gun while committing a crime, and concealing the death of another. A murder charge was dropped as part of the plea agreement. In the early morning hours of January 21st, 2021, the DeKalb County Police Department found Hawk's cousin, Frederick Rooks III, suffering from multiple gunshot wounds, with 10 bullet casings found near his body. He was pronounced dead at the scene.
Damn.
Security camera Security camera footage from a nearby home showed a white BMW SUV fleeing the area minutes after the gunfire. Officers were able to confirm that the vehicle was the same one that Hawk used to pick up Rooks, according to the DeKalb County District Attorney's Office. Hawk was taken into custody on February 1st of 2021. During an interview with investigators, he admitted to shooting Rooks. Ballistic testings matched the bullet casings to a gun that Hawk had when he was arrested, authorities said. Rooks's brothers and sisters told DeKalb County Superior Court Judge Courtney L. Johnson before sentencing that Hawk should have gotten a longer sentence. The Atlanta Journal Constitution reported. The rapper was a high school junior in suburban Atlanta in 2015 when he released Watch Me Whip Nene and watched it skyrocket into a dance craze. Hawk made multiple other albums, but said in an interview with the medical talk show The Doctors in 2019 that he struggled with depression and had grown up in a family where he witnessed mental illness and violence. I've been fighting demons my whole life. Uh, my whole life, he said in 2019. Depression doesn't leave you when you become famous, it just adds more pressure, Hawk said, then urging others to get help. And while everybody's looking at you, they're also judging you. I don't know if I can truly be happy. I don't know if these demons will ever go away. Hawk had been struggling in the months before the arrest. His publicist, Chanel Hudson, said he tried to kill himself in 2020. In August of 2020, he was arrested in Santa Ana, California on a domestic violence charge. The next day, the Los Angeles Police Department charged him with assault with a deadly weapon after witnesses say he entered a home where he didn't know anyone, looking for his girlfriend, and swung a hatchet at two people before he was disarmed. In October 2020, Hawk was arrested after police said they clocked him driving 143 miles per hour on Interstate 85 in DeKalb County. Hudson said at the time of Hawk's arrest in the killing of Rooks that he had been suffering immensely from a series of mental health illnesses. Okay, so he said pretty much trying to tell the judge, I'm crazy, so, please give me less time, but that ass still got 30 years. And, and you know what, though? I don't know if y'all remember, this actually has nothing to do with nothing, but do y'all remember where a photo of him leaked? This is before this even happened with his cousin, and he pretty much showed his backside and had it wide open. And when I tell you that hole looks tattered, tattered and abused, honey. So he is clearly sticking something up in there.
Hmm?
Yes, girl. That behind. I'll see if I can find it. And I'll show you later. But trust me, he likes booty play because that hole was tattered and ran through. What BB claims I am, but no, mine don't look like
Okay.
that. So, does anybody want to add anything about his crazy ass or tattered booty holes before we go to the next story?
No, I think we can let him go on down the road.
We sure can.
Well, he'll be in the right place if he's okay with that. Then, hmm.
It'll be like a buffet, honey. All you can eat buffet.
Yeah, yeah, he's gonna be in heaven over there. Okay.
Well, so y'all remember when that story that we talked about with Antonio Brown? and how he first was apprehended. They did slap some cuffs on him, but they didn't arrest him that night. Now it looks like his ass is wanted for attempted murder. I'm like,
What?
why didn't? Yes, I'm like, well, why didn't y'all arrest his ass that night? Child. Anyway, I just shared this link with from TMZ Sports, and y'all see where it says Antonio Brown attempted to kill man with guns stolen from security guard. So Antonio Brown is wanted in Florida after cops say he stole a security guard's gun and tried to kill a man outside of a celebrity boxing match last month. TMZ Sports has obtained the arrest warrant that was issued this week for Brown. And in it, there are all kinds of troubling allegations against the former NFL superstar. According to the document, Brown and please forgive me if I mispronounce this person's name, but Brown and Zul Karnayan Natambu were seen on surveillance getting into an argument near Aiden Ross's May 16th brand risk event in Miami, before Brown could be seen hitting Natambu with a closed fist. Several other individuals began attacking Mr. Natambu, the doc states, escalating the situation to three individuals against one. Cops say security intervened to break up the tiff, and as one of the guards wrestled to control Brown, the ex-Steelers receiver allegedly ripped a gun from the guy's right hip area. Cops wrote in the document Brown then held the firearm in his left hand and appeared to chase after Nantambu. Cell phone video obtained from social media showed Mr. Brown with the firearm in his hand advancing towards Mr. Nantambu on the outside sidewalk. Cops claim in the dock the video captures two shots which occur as Mr. Brown is within several feet of Mr. Nantambu. The video also captures Mr. Nantambu ducking after the first shot is heard. According to the document, Nantambu said in an interview with police on May 21st that Brown did shoot at him following their physical altercation, and one of the bullets possibly grazed him in the neck. Cops wrote Nantambu had visible injuries. As you know, police did initially respond to the incident and did detain Brown briefly at the scene. They noted in the arrest warrant he did not have a gun on his person, and after they could not find a victim at the scene, they let him go. The warrant states Brown is wanted on one felony charge of attempted second-degree murder with a firearm. It also notes he will be required to post a $10,000 bond while remaining under house arrest as he awaits trial. For Brown's part, he said in a statement following the incident on May 17th, he was jumped by multiple individuals who tried to steal my jewelry and cause physical harm to me. Police temporarily detained me, he added, until they received my side of the story and then released me. I went home that night and was not arrested. He has yet to publicly comment on the arrest warrant. So you said all that after you knew you don't beat. You talking about somebody jumped you. You and two other people jumped this man, and then the security tried to break it up. You grab the security's gun and you chase after that man and shoot him 2 times. Lock his fucking ass up. Lock him up. Why are we still talking about this?
It's violent.
Lock
Ooh.
his ashy lipped ass up so that way we can get another sketch artist to do them. I guess a more accurate because the how that sketch artist saying Diddy lips look, that's how his ashy look. Y'all see in this photo, look, them lips is ashy than a mug, honey. Good lord.
Yeah, but are they that ashy?
Child. Lock his ass up. Well, does anybody want to add anything about him before we go to the next story, child?
I wonder what makes you think you can do that kind of stuff. I mean, thank God he didn't, kill the man. But why would why would you go that far and just try to break into the prison? I don't understand this mindset.
It ain't for us to understand, girl. But and to be honest, like I don't want because I hate when people like blame a lot of stuff on mental health. But I mean, look at what Silencio just said. He grew up in it. It was untreated. While he was trying to treat it, it ended up becoming too late, and then they just doing wild things. So
Well,
I
it
don't
could
want to say it's mental health related, but I mean, what other information that you know what I'm saying? Like,
it may be the factor in a lot of cases, untreated especially. Um, yeah, Not to,
because clearly, like, there's something wrong with it. Like, your inhibitions aren't there. Like, something is telling you that it's okay to do some shit like that, and it's not, and it never has been.
right,
But like Will says all the time, I'm not a health professional, so I can't diagnose anybody with anything.
right, and I am, but that's definitely not my lane.
Hmm.
Mental health is a whole another field. I can't even speak on it, other than just I know a lot of mentally ill people don't like to take their drugs because they make them feel doped up, which they do. I mean, I can speak on that aspect of it, but
Hmm.
this right here, I don't know.
Yep. And just really quickly, that's why I've been saying what I've been saying about Brashear Gray, who played Hakeem on Empire, and how
Hmm.
he's done a whole 180. Now we see him just busting it wide open, showing his dingling and stuff on his OnlyFans and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But when you know his story, like he comes from a single mother, was in the church heavily, and but we do know he suffers from bipolar disorder, and he does not like to take his medication. He's actually went on record to say that.
Yeah,
So when you see stuff like this, it's like, is this a manic episode?
and I feel bad for them because those drugs really do depress them, and make them um, sluggish. And that's all they have. So and they know that's what the drug is doing. I mean, they're not crazy in that aspect. They can feel that, and they don't like it. But when they don't take their drugs, then their mental illness just runs rampant, and it's sad that that's all we've got to offer them for people who are like schizophrenic, bipolar, and so forth. And they really don't like taking those drugs, and that's why so many of them stop, and then they
Yep.
lose control, and things happen. Um, yeah.
Well, does anybody want to add anything about Antonio Brown or mental health before we go to the next story?
He's just waiting to really do something. If he did that, then he'll do something else.
Hmm. And then it was the doing that, and then when you purposely hid the gun, and then the victim, like, he went away. So I guess there was no arrest that night. But still, like, you right, Chad, if you was able to steal that security guard's gun and chase that man and shoot at him twice, and thank God the bullet didn't connect anywhere and hurt that man,
Right.
and then try to lie and say you were the one who was jumped when you were doing the jumping.
But you can't,
Girl.
even if that were the case, this is where people get things fucked up. Okay, say that was the case, that they did jump him. But once the person has their back to you and running away, you cannot
Hmm.
claim self defense if you're shooting a person that's running away from you. I don't care what happened before that. You could have had a fist fight or whatever. They snatched your chain but didn't get it. Whatever happened, that there's no self defense to shooting a person running away from you. It just that's just the law, and a lot of people get that fucked up.
Yep. Yes, indeed. Well, Jeezy may have Nia Long fucked up. Nice segue. So I just shared this link here from All Hip Hop, and you see where it says Jeezy said he'd absolutely spin the block for Nia Long post divorce.
Oh,
Boy,
Nia, Nia.
child. Jeezy said Jeezy made it clear he is not playing games when it comes to Nia Long, confirming during a June 2025 appearance on The Breakfast Club that he's ready to pursue the actress now that his divorce is finalized. The rapper didn't dodge the rumors about his chemistry with Long during their viral 2023 sit down. When asked if he was trying to holler at her, he laughed and said, "They wasn't lying." He admitted he was interested, but held back out of respect for his then pending split from Jeannie Mai. I had to be respectful, he said. Now that both are reportedly single, Jeezy isn't hiding his intentions. It was hard. It was tough staying focused. Jesus said of their interview before inviting me along to his Thug Motivation 20th anniversary orchestra tour. I'm gonna hit the park button, he said, confirming that he would absolutely spin the block for long. I'm not gonna play about that. The rapper also made it clear he's not the type to cheat, emphasizing that he waited until his divorce was finalized before making any moves. Elsewhere during the interview, Jesus confirmed that he finally found peace with his ex-wife Jeannie Mai after their tumultuous divorce and custody battle, stating they are now in a much better place and focused on co-parenting with respect and maturity. He reflected on the difficult period during the divorce, saying, I just want peace, I just want joy, and I just want freedom. I love my freedom. Jeezy is about to hit the road for the Thug Motivation 101 20th Anniversary Orchestra Tour, where he's performing hits from his debut album, Let's Get It, Thug Motivation 101, alongside the Color of Noise Orchestra. The tour marks 20 years since the album's release and continues through summer of 2025. And what an iconic debut album, baby. When I tell you that Let's Get It Thug Motivation 101 was a debut for your ass, that album, honey, you can pretty much listen to with no skips. No skips, honey. That album was everything. But yeah, Neil Long don't want your ass. Neil don't want nothing to do with you. Neil don't want that.
Well, I don't know anything about his album, and Nia, girl, no. I agree with that part.
And quiet as it's kept, honey. I really want her to come out the closet, allegedly. Because my okay, so my
Huh?
thing, and Wendy, yes, honey, Wendy Williams has pretty much tainted me because Wendy said on radio a long time ago, and I'm paraphrasing, of course, but she was like, a lot of women that you see, if you see like a woman who's mostly single and has a successful career in Hollywood, more than likely she's either a whore or she's gay. so, so
What?
every so we yes, she said. So then when you think about it, like people like for example, I want to use maybe like Tracy Ellis Ross, Wanda Sykes back before before she came out of the closet.
Hmm.
Yes. Mm-hmm. But you know how she had a really successful career, but she was never linked to a husband or anybody like that. So they say if you don't see like a husband in the background, and because you know Hollywood is a very they seem to be progressive, but they're actually very traditional in a sense of they like straight married couples to be at the forefront.
Right.
So if you see somebody, a successful black woman who does not have a husband or a partner that she's linked to, she's either a whore and she'll take your man, or she's gay. So that's why I've been thinking Nia Long is gay. So I have no proof other than what Whitney Williams said, other than just the feeling. But
What? She
yeah.
was gonna marry Ime Udoka.
Hmm. Right, because she's trying to get back in high. You notice how, like, when started talking about the marriage and the baby, all of a sudden we started seeing her back in movies, on TV shows
Yeah,
and stuff like. Because we didn't see Nia for a long time.
that's very true. Might have something there.
So yeah, like I said, I have no proof other than what Wendy Williams said. But Wendy ain't never been wrong before. So
Well, I mean, it makes sense. There's a few people who've come out as gay later on in life that I thought were gay because you never saw them out on a date with anybody. They always showed up to the red carpet, but alone. Uh, and Tracy Ross is one of those people, and God bless her if she's gay. So what? I get it,
yeah,
but
I hope she is because I feel like she's too fabulous to be straight. No offense to all you straighties out there, but
she is fabulous. I love her. She's a very beautiful woman, and if you're gay, girl, it's okay. But I also agree that people should have their privacy. I don't think, and maybe this is a controversial statement. I don't think people have to necessarily broadcast their sexual preference if it's not cisgender or whatever straight. I don't feel like people have to speak on it. I feel like your private life, you should have some control over that. And
yeah,
if you're successful enough to do that, which a few celebrities are, you don't see them chatting about anything unless they're selling something or whatever. I don't think you have to do that to make people know anything about what you do with your genitals. I just don't. I think it's wonderful when you do come out, and it's part of your community or whatever. But I don't think you have to do it. If you're comfortable staying secretive about your private life, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah, especially when you when you're unproblematic and you pretty much just tend to yourself and your business. Yeah,
Yeah.
you have every right to. Now, once you start, like, if you don't be that kind of person and you sitting there like talking shit about the gays and stuff like that
Oh
whole time, you
no.
be at them. Oh, I will call it out every time.
Oh no, no. I'm definitely not even speaking of those circumstances or any kind of abusive behavior or anything like that. Don't
Yeah.
don't shit on people. Then you're a part of a community. Unknown caller. Yeah, you will stay. Yeah, as long as you're minding your business and staying to yourself, nobody can say anything bad about you. Yeah, I think you deserve your privacy if that's what you want.
Yep. But does anybody want to add anything about Jeezy, Nia, or privacy before we go to the next story?
Stay away, Nia. If you're listening to this
That part.
podcast,
Girl, keep your ass far away from that Libra man, honey.
hmm
Well, K Michelle, honey, she want people to stop playing in her face. So I just shared this link here from All Hip Hop, and you see where it says K Michelle checks interviewer who dismissed her country background in viral exchange. Now, normally I would have shared the video of this clip, but because I'm doing the show on my phone today, I'm gonna just have to read it and talk about it. So, K Michelle shut down a dismissive question about her country music background during an interview at CMA Fest 2025 after the interviewer implied that she was new to the game or new to the genre, excuse me. The tense moment came during a sit down with an American songwriter when the host asked her to introduce herself, saying, "You didn't grow up hearing country music." The comment didn't sit well with K Michelle, who quickly corrected the record. "You do this all the time," she fired back. "I did grow up in country music. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. I got a scholarship for yodeling. That's how I paid for college." K. Michelle, who has long been vocal about the barriers she's faced in the country music industry, did not hold back. "I was told I couldn't sing country because I was black," she added. "But it was something I had been doing and I will continue to do. It didn't fly here. I grew up here. Excuse me, I didn't fly here. I grew up here." When the interviewer tried to soften the exchange by pointing out, "We just haven't heard you on contemporary country radio," Michelle doubled down. "Well, you don't hear a lot of women on contemporary radio, period, right now." "Okay," she replied. And you really don't hear a black one, but you will." The exchange quickly went viral online, with social media users rallying behind K. Michelle and criticizing the interviewer's lack of preparation. "Cleared her," one user wrote in a reposted clip. Another added, "And the person interviewing K. Michelle would know that if she did actual research on K. Michelle. How are you a journalist and you don't know anything about the artist you're interviewing? Even I knew about Kimber's yodeling vocal history." She drew comparisons to Beyonce, some drew comparisons to Beyonce, who had also faced criticism while stepping into country music. "LOL, K. Michelle said all the stuff Beyonce can't say," one user commented. Another wrote, "She didn't do her research at all. K. Michelle has been trying to get recognized in country music since the beginning of time. Since Beyonce made her album, they finally started giving black country singers a little credit." So, but y'all kind of see why I'm not a fan of that genre, right? I just really hate how they now. And I love that people like K. Michelle, people like Beyonce are trying to claim this genre back that we literally invented. We literally created country. But country has pretty much turned into something that nothing, I want nothing to do with. But yeah, she playing it like what that one comment said, even I knew about K. Michelle's yodeling. And that's how she paid for school. So K. Michelle has been talking about being in country music for over a decade now. And the fact that this interviewer didn't know that or didn't, it's just that they're playing in her face.
and that's the whole problem. Truth be told, a lot of black people love country music. A lot of people are raised in the country, And what do they play in the country? Country
Country
music.
music.
Yes, they know about hip hop and R&B and B and so forth, but a lot of them have white friends. Those people like country music. They ride horses. They have rodeos. All of that. Outside of the big events you might hear about, that's a strong influence, especially in Texas. I understand Beyonce totally making a country album. I
Hmm.
think it's the people in country music that are the problem because
Yep.
they've claimed this genre, and there's a lot of racism amongst the fan base. When someone other than white people try to make their mark in country music. So I get it why you probably don't have an affinity for it, but there's a lot of black country music fans.
Yep. There is indeed, and I'm kind of like I'm not being entirely truthful because I did at one point enjoy Hootie and the Blowfish because I like Darius Rucker, and he was one of like my introduction to country music, like black people singing country. He was my introduction, and I didn't hate the music, but then I just kind of I guess I should say that I like other genres more than I like country, but again I do love that the black people are coming out and fight for what was invented by us in the first place. So I
Amen.
love it. Well, that's that on that. Does anybody want to add anything about K Michelle and country music before we go to the next story? I'm looking at the comments. Okay. Well, the next story, in the midst of sexual assault allegations, honey, Shannon Sharp decided he wanted to comment back on Nicki Minaj's diss. So I just shared this link from Hot New Hip Hop, and you see where it says Shannon Sharp claps back at Nicki Minaj's diss with an explanation. And he really didn't clap back. He just pretty much told his side of the story, if you will. But I feel like you have way better things to worry about, Mr. Sharp. But anyway, so Shannon Sharp has big allegations to deal with, but an unexpected bit of online drama emerged that has nothing to do with that. Nicki Minaj recently dissed him on the new "Band from New Orleans" remix alongside her Young Money mentor Lil Wayne. As it turns out, the situation is a bit more complex than Nicki or Shannon assumed. Basically, the Trinidadian FemC's diss comes from an old tweet of Shannon Sharp's in which a fan told him that Nicki wanted to be on his podcast. Nicki who? He replied, which made a lot of Barbs angry for his perceived disrespect. But the Shane Room on Instagram caught clips of the former NFL player explaining this on his Nightcap podcast after Band from New Orleans dropped. Apparently, he was having a lot of social media debates about politician Nikki Haley at the time. So he was legitimately asking for clarification. I was talking about Nikki Haley, Shannon Sharp remarked concerning the Nicki Minaj diss. Nikki Haley said something, so I'm talking about Nikki Haley. So somebody said Nikki really wants to come on your podcast. How am I supposed to know I'm talking about how am I supposed to I'm talking about Nikki Haley? I'm like, Nikki who? And it'd be like, Ocho, hey, know about them sports. People gonna say, who? It might be Snoop Dogg, it might be me. It wasn't meant as disrespect. He continued, yes, I know who you are. I was going back and forth. We've been talking about Nikki Haley. I hate when the webpage jumps around like this. Okay. So I'm just trying to figure out how I'm supposed to all of a sudden know that they meant Nicki Minaj. Nikki, I apologize. I meant no disrespect. You always have an open invitation if you ever want to come sit down and have a conversation, even if you just want to have a private conversation on the phone or something. Hardcore fans likely remember that this isn't Shannon Sharp and Nicki Minaj's first media crossover. He previously questioned why her beef with Megan Thee Stallion began, which led to a viral discussion. We'll see if the superstar responds to the clarification with forgiveness. So basically, this is all just a big ass nothing burger. Basically. And the comment says, ugh, he needs to sit down. He needs to do a lot of things, honey. Well, that's that on that, honey. Does anybody want to add anything about this mother before we go to the next story?
Both of them need to sit down. Both of them.
Wake that up, chill. Both of them. All right. Well, I got three more stories left. Let me just get my oh, not my OneNote. Okay, here we go. What the hell? Oh, okay. Girl, I'm here to say what the hell just happened. Okay. For some reason, my OneNote just timed out. All right, we're back. Okay. So y'all. So the next story, Larsa Pippen is being weird again. This woman she is very weird. I'm sorry. So I just shared this link here from Hot New Hip Hop. Larsa Pippen reflects on relationship with Marcus Jordan and noticing red flags early. So Larsa Pippen is embracing a fresh start following her split from Marcus Jordan, finding renewed balance in a relationship with former basketball player and mindfulness author Jeff Colby. In a recent People interview, the Real Housewives of Miami star admitted she ignored signs that things were off with Jordan. When you see red flags at the start, believe them, Pippen said, acknowledging that hindsight revealed truth she initially overlooked. 9 months after the breakup, she focused on. Sorry, the pages jumped. There we go. 9 months after the breakup, she focused on healing and growth with Kobe, whose calming energy contrasts her usual pace. While speaking to paparazzi in Miami, Kobe casually revealed their plans. We're getting married. It's going to be a beautiful marriage. November 2025. When asked about proposing, he kept that mystery alive. Can't tell you when I'm going to propose, he said with a smile. Oh, so he just set a date for them to be married, but didn't even propose to her yet. Okay. Anyway, Pippen shared that their bond feels natural, rooted in shared values and strong family ties. We've talked about marriage, she said. When you know, you know. Their connection began through mutual friends and deepened through their close knit families. His parents and mine are tight. Our families spend a lot of time together, just like we do. Kobe's presence, Pippen said, had brought peace to her daily life. He's teaching me how to slow down, she says. I'm used to solving all my problems at once. He encourages me to handle things one at a time. Their girl, I can't with her. Their relationship emphasized is built on mutual understanding and emotional balance. We're good for each other, she added. He's grounded, and that energy helps center me. No stranger to headlines or reinvention, Pippin seems more focused than ever. This new chapter isn't just about romance, it's about emotional clarity, stability, and redefining love beyond the spotlight. Marcus Jordan has not commented on Lars's interview yet. Scottie Pippen, Lars's ex husband, has not commented on the reality star's upcoming prenuptials. And he won't. What the hell he gonna say? Girl.
That voice.
Look, look, Auntie, why you give her that voice? Because in my head, that's what she sounds like.
Those eyelashes
It's,
crazy to me.
girl. And then she talking about, oh, he's teaching me how to slow down. I want y'all to understand that she is actually 20 years older than that young man that she's with now. And he's teaching you stuff, girl, teaching you how to, Larsa, please get out my face with that. Please get out my face, girl. You are old enough to be that man's mama.
And his record, how is he teaching her how to slow down with the things he's doing?
Yeah.
Make it make sense.
And now you see why I said Larsa Pippen is being weird again. And then talk about she ignored red flags in Marcus Jordan. No, honey, he ignored red flags in you.
They both went
In
to
you,
red
girl.
flags. You ask me.
Honestly, pretty much. Well, child, that's that on that. Does anybody want to add anything about her weird ass before we go to the next story? All right. Well, the next story, honey. So TDE, Top Dog Entertainment, they've been in the news a lot lately. Especially like I think the last time we talked about Drake, when any TDE artist went to Canada or Toronto specifically, they were unable to perform because allegedly Drake pretty much put a stop to that. Well, honey, TDE is in trouble for other reasons now, child. So I just shared another link from Hot New Hip Hop. You see where it says women suing Top Dog Entertainment can proceed with doxing allegations.
Mm.
Yes, girl, it's crazy. So in January of this year, Top Dog Entertainment, known as TDE, was hit with a lawsuit filed by two women. The women came forward anonymously to allege that they experienced sexual harassment, assault, and more during their time working for the label. One of the women accuses Anthony Musa Tiffith Jr. of sexual harassment. She also accuses Chief Marketing Officer Brandon Big B Tiffith of sexual battery and trying to sleep with her. The other woman alleges that she was coerced into drinking alcohol and sexually exploited by one employee, David Harrell. She alleges that other employees sexually assaulted and harassed her on multiple other occasions. TDE is accused of ignoring these alleged incidents when they were brought to their attention. Shortly after the lawsuits were filed, TDE's lawyer, Marty Singer, released a statement in the response. He vehemently denied the allegations on the label's behalf, exposing the women's identity in the process. This is a clear example of a shakedown lawsuit by anonymous woman who made a demand of 48 million dollars through their attorneys on fabricated claims and whose attorneys are looking for their 10 minutes of fame, he alleged. There are text messages and communications that totally refute these baseless claims. Additionally, the anonymous woman were never employees of Top Dog Entertainment. We are confident that we will prevail in this action. Plaintiffs initially filed this lawsuit under the pseudonyms Jane Doe and Jane Roe, fearing for their reputations and safety if their names were publicly revealed. The suit alleges. On information and belief, defendant TDE released a public statement to multiple news outlets on February 1st of 2025 through a representative stating that this was a shakedown lawsuit by the anonymous women, thus revealing the plaintiff's names to the public. On June 11th, the women secured a small win in court. According to Rolling Stone, the judge ruled that they can proceed with their doxing allegations. Yeah, I mean, they were dogs. If you're going to sit, and you as an attorney should know that if they file anonymously and you go out and release a statement sharing these people's names, come on now. What are you doing, sir? I'm surprised that ass ain't been disbarred. For real, for real. So that's that on that, child. Does anybody want to add anything before we go to the last story? Men being predators, honey, groundbreaking. Like Jasmine about to say again, nothing new. Same old shit. Same old fucking shit. All right, well, y'all, our last story that we are going to talk about. So apparently, y'all know DMX's very famous song "Party Up." Y'all gonna make me lose my mind up in here, up in here.
Hmm.
Did y'all know that that was a corrupt diss? And who told us it was a corrupt diss was Exhibit. And I think I need to specify when I say corrupt diss, I mean rapper corrupt with a K. It was a diss towards him.
Oh, because I was confused. Okay.
I just had to realize, okay, maybe I wasn't clear when I so yeah, rapper corrupt, who spells his name with a K, DMX's song Party Up was a diss towards him.
Oh.
And Exhibit spilled that T. So let's talk about it. So from Hot New Hip Hop, it says recently Exhibit appeared on DJ HED's Effective Immediately, where he discussed one of the DMX's biggest hits. According to him, Party Up was written as a diss track aimed at the Dog Pound's Corrupt, as they were both romantically linked to Foxy Brown. What was crazy was when I found out that Party Up was an answer to calling out names, he explained per Billboard. That's what Drake should have did. He should have made a Party Up. Nah, but he tried to get down and knuckle up with it. And I kept telling niggas, don't get into fights with niggas who like to fight. So Party Up was a response to Corrupt's exhibit continued. You whack, you twisted, your girl's a hoe, you broke, the kid is yours, and everybody know they were fighting over Foxy Brown. We need to do a hip hop 101. On calling out names, Corrupt went after DMX specifically. Motherfuck D, motherfuck M, only X I know is Exhibit or RBX. Extraordinary trying to snatch my bitch. You can have the bitch. Two bitches getting rich. Just come to the West Coast and get stripped down, beat to death, and stripped all over a bitch. Oh, wow. So during an interview with Bootleg Kev after DMX's passing, Corrupt discussed the diss track, revealing what inspired him. I was in my feelings and I was really upset at the whole experience with this young lady. Just upset, period, at the way I was treated. I let off some steam, he shared. People will pump you up if you allow them to. I could say a lot of people told me things I took to heart. This person said this person said that. DMX was just a straw that broke the camel's back, to where my anger was like, I just let it all go. He also added. Fortunately, Corrupt later went on to confirm that the two of them were ultimately able to squash their beef before DMX passed away. So that's good to know. But yeah, the whole time we was there, we did not know there was a diss to Corrupt. So I love my baby mama. I never let her go. Exactly. Exactly, honey. Well, y'all, that was all the tea that I had for us today. So before we head out and before I wish you all a fabulous weekend, did any of you have any tea you want to share or any tea that I might have missed? All right, y'all. Well, it is always a pleasure. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day to come and sip tea with me. I want to promise that we will be back on Monday, but to be honest, I'm honestly not sure. But if we will be back on Monday, believe me, I will announce it and I'll let you all know and I'll put it on my Twitter and everything. But in the meantime, you all have a fabulous rest of your day.
Bye, everybody.